when the manager or the GM calls your AAA manager and says, "Yo, how's Greene doing?" He already knows my ERA. He already knows how many strikeouts I got.
Hmm.
So what's he really asking? It's the same thing with high school players. When he says, "Yo, what do you got on Greene?" He's asking like, "Is this guy a shithead, or can I go to war with this guy every day?"
Hmm.
What I tell high school players and even college players that I work with, pretend like you're your coach and you get that call. What do you want the coach to say about you? Write it down. Those are your goals every day.
Welcome to the Hold My Ball podcast. Today's guest, Shane Greene. How you doing, my man?
Living the dream, brother. How are you?
No, I'm good. You are in Toronto,
No, I'm in Vancouver, but same thing.
Vancouver.
If you're from the States, it's all the same.
Yeah, to me it is. Hey, I want to start with this because I think it sums you up as far as I've seen. You played, obviously, we'll talk about that, but you are now a face on social media that I see all over the place, which I love because you are a former player giving very raw, good, just takes of somebody who's been there, done that. And I love that because I'm a guy who built a social media following talking about big leaguers, and I played junior college baseball, and that was it. So I'm like, whenever I get with you guys, I'm like, first thing first, ultimate respect for the man in the arena. Like, I love baseball. I love talking about it. But when it comes down to it, the respect I have for you guys being the best in the world at what you do is pretty incredible. And this, to me, sums you up a little bit. West Florida, you get Tommy John during your freshman year?
So during my freshman year, I found out I needed it. But when they
Okay.
told me I needed it, it was like, "Oh, you need it, but if you can deal with the pain, like you can finish the season," kind of thing. And
Hmm.
then the coach at the time was like, That's stupid. You just shouldn't pitch." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, that makes sense."
Yeah. Okay. So you get the Tommy John surgery. That same coach is the one that says, no more scholarship for you. I want you to, I don't think you've ever earned anything in your life. I want you to come back, rehab here, try to earn your scholarship back. You respectfully said, thank you. I will move on to Daytona Beach. I'm going to go become an MLB All Star. And you said that's a guy that you would fight to the death.
Yeah, so I've talked about this many times, but the guy's still there. He's still coaching there. So like somebody likes him.
Hmm.
That somebody is not myself. Uh we did not see eye to eye on many things, clearly.
Hmm.
But the straw that broke the camel's back was when he told me like I've never earned anything in my life and I could earn it back when I could pitch again. I that was like a week before the exit meeting in college. Everybody does like the exit meetings. I'm sure you've
Yep.
done that. So
Hmm.
that was like a week. That was like the exit meeting before the exit meeting that he told me that. And then a week later, I went to the exit meeting and told him like basically fuck off
Yeah.
and uh, everything that I hated about him and his program, basically, and why I would not be choosing to come back to earn my scholarship back. And then an hour later, he called me and offered me a full ride, but by then the bridge had been burned. I respectively declined, and then that's when I went to Daytona Beach. And I had a good setup there. I wasn't actually on the team, but the head coach, he knew my story, and we met and had a long conversation. And so he allowed me to use the field and the facility to do my TJ rehab, but I wasn't actually on the team. So like I did nothing with the team. I never met one player.
Really?
There was another guy who I did the rehab with who actually I was with at UWF also. So we both left together. And then he had TJ a month after me, and then we did everything together. But we were able to use the field and the facility. But the only person with that baseball program that I had a relationship was the head coach.
Really? What was the plan there then because did you get drafted that year?
Yeah, so I obviously a year rehab. So my sophomore year, I just went to school there, did all my rehab, and then the plan was for me to walk on. Uh, so that would have been my junior year to just walk on. He's like, "You're on the team. You just got to show up, basically." And I was from Florida, so I had a bright future. So at a JUCO, that's 100%. So my school was
Mhm.
paid. My school was paid for through academics for me to walk on. But I had just started throwing off the mound again. And when I was like 8 years old, I used to go to hitting lessons with a guy named Jeff Beardorf, who was in AAA with the Yankees at the time. through the course of my life, we became family friends. Fast forward, now I'm a sophomore in college at Daytona Beach Community College, and he's a scout for the Yankees. So
Mm,
I'm like bugging him, calling him. I'm like, yo, I'm back on the mound. I'm about to play in this wood bat league in Central Florida. Like, do you know any schools that you have a good enough relationship with that you could talk to them and have them come watch me throw? And he's like, yeah, but I should watch you throw first. I'm like, yeah, okay, let's do it. So I go to like my hometown. My best friend puts the catcher's gear on. His little sister, who was like 12 at the time, was holding the radar gun. Jeff meets us out there. I throw a bullpen. It's first time in my life. I'm over 89. I was 90, 92.
mm.
And then I ended up throwing for him and a cross checker the next week. And then the week after that, they're like, yo, when can you do that again? I'm like, give me a week. It was literally my fourth time off the mound after surgery. And then
Yeah.
they invited me to Tampa, and I pitched against some guys in extended spring training, like scrimmage games. And those were the first hitters I faced after TJ, and I punched out two and was 92, 94, and then they drafted me right after that, like 10 days after that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy because how old were you at the time?
Uh, uh, 19, 19 or 20, 19,
So
sophomore in college.
you're 19, you're throwing for the 4th time after Tommy John. If nobody's around, you're taking it easy because 'cause you're nervous, probably,
Yeah. Yeah.
but you got cross checkers, you're like, "Fuck it, gotta air it out, huh?
Let it go. Let it go.
Let it eat." That's crazy, and
Yeah.
it was good. Did you have, um, throughout your career, any other Tommy John one time?
Yeah, TJ in college, and then when I got to I didn't have any other health issues until 2016, 2015.
Mhm.
So, it was my first opening day in the big leagues. I made the team out of camp. I had gotten traded to Detroit at this time. So 14, I debuted with the Yankees. They traded me in the offseason to Detroit. Now I'm in Detroit. I made the opening day roster. I'm in the rotation. I started off the season hot. Like, it was like eight shutty, seven and a third, one earned run. Like, I was on a
Mm.
roll. They were trying to give me the Cy Young Award, basically. And then I couldn't get anybody out for like 6 weeks straight. It was like 8 spot, 10 spot, 6 spot, 7 spot, like not good. Um, then sent me to the bullpen, ended up sending me to AAA. But throughout the course of all of that, I was driving to the field one day and I was literally just resting on my hand, like going through it, really, like just
Mm.
contemplating, like, how did all this happen so quickly? And my fingers were like really cold. And I just kind of thought it was weird. So I went to the training room that day, thank God. And I told him, like, yo, this sounds crazy, but my fingers are freezing. They're like, just these two, they're frozen. And you're like, all right, we'll just heat them up and get out there and, let us know how it goes. So long story short, fast forward like 6 weeks. I'm now in AAA actually, and I'm starting. It's a day game. It's like 1,000,000 degrees outside, and my fingers are black. It looks like I'm using pine tar, but they're black and they're frozen. Like, I'm pouring sweat and my fingers are frozen.
Huh.
And so I'm like, yo, something's not right. So they DL me. I have to get some tests done, and they find an aneurysm in my shoulder that was causing blood clots to form in my fingers and my hand.
Wow.
And thank God I went into the training room in the big leagues when they started getting cold because they were able to backdate the injury. So I ended up getting service time for all that and then getting big league pay throughout my rehab process. But that was the only uh, injury I had, really, was that. Obviously, I couldn't control it. And then when I was coming back from that, I was in the big leagues the following year, pitching really well. And I get like a callus on my finger normally. Well, because of the blood clots, the skin was like super dead under the callus, and I was sweating really bad. It was a day game against Cleveland, I believe, and the callus ripped off, and it was just pouring blood. Like, it looked
Oh,
like
yeah.
my finger went through a meat grinder. Like, they
Jeez.
they came to check on me because on the TV and the down in the cages, the hitting coach saw the ball, and it was just covered in blood, like in the replay. So,
That's
long,
crazy.
yeah. So long story short, I went on 60-day DL for that, for my finger, which is not my proudest moment because of a blister. But like, if I showed you a picture of this blister, it's no normal blister,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like
Um,
it.
yeah, and then I was good the rest of the way until 2024. I tore my flexor, the same thing that Strider just did or dealt with.
Mhm.
Like a month after he tore his, I tore mine. I was in AAA with the Rangers at the time, but I tore my flexor and then had surgery on that. But for the most part, I was. Dr. Meister says that Tommy John surgeries nowadays will last 5 years ish, and mine lasted 16 before I had another
Yeah.
elbow problem. So it did pretty good.
That's huge. That's huge. That's see, I wonder because now it's like you have to throw so hard, and people ask about, like well, I shouldn't say you have to, but it feels like you do, right?
No,
It's
you have to.
you have to, and
If you didn't
I
have to, I'd have a locker somewhere probably.
you know what? I'm telling you, I know a guy who just got released from AAA, and his numbers were unbelievable, but he throws 91, and it's like, you have the best numbers on the team all season in AAA as a reliever. If you just looked at the numbers, you'd say, "Give me this guy," and then they look at the velo and go, "Eh," it's, like, very interesting, but, this is what irritates me is everybody wonders, why all the injuries?" It's like, well, what the fuck do you think the injuries are here for? I mean, everybody's like, you were in a really good time, so you were drafted in 09?
Hmm.
So, the difference of training for youth and kids and even athletes in
Everything.
general in '09 compared to 2020 is, night and day. It's
It's
night and
insane.
day. So, I just look at it and go, if you just add up the reps of anything, squats, throwing a ball, all of it for these kids, they're thousands and thousands of reps ahead of where guys were when they were 16, 20 years ago. Of course, they're gonna be injured. That body's gonna be
Yeah.
30 when it's 25. It's like, this to
Yeah.
me and I think you're getting to a point where you almost have to look at it as a trade-off. I would do it. I'd blow my arm out for a big league career, sure.
No
Kinda
doubt.
comes with the territory.
Sign me up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, I
No, but
part of me
I
go
think
ahead, go ahead.
it's kind of I kind of think it's a perfect storm, right? So when I first got to the big league, it's like it's just a small sample size, like team stretch, okay, in the big leagues. You go outside. Most guys have already been in the weight room and like worked out or stretched on their own or whatever, and now they're at team stretch and like it's active, but like you're kind of going through the motions. Nothing crazy because it's the big leagues and you can kind of do whatever you want, but you got to check the boxes, right? And so you go through
Mhm,
team stretch, but you're getting loose. You get the body going, you get the blood flowing, and then you play catch, right? And you start off like lobbing it, and then over time, a little harder, a little harder, a little harder, whatever. You fast forward to now, guys still might get into the weight room a little first, but like the first throw that they're doing of the day is a weighted ball into the wall. Like that's their stretch. Like they got
mhm,
before team stretch, they're now throwing this heavy baseball or heavy ball into the wall uh, 20, 50 times. And then they stretch. It's the same thing in the bullpen. It's like back in the day, in the second inning or whenever your routine starts, it's like you get up, you start moving around, you start stretching, you're running back and forth. You're doing like the stretching to get your blood flowing, to get your heart rate up. Now that get ready is just go to your bag, take a heavy ball out of it and start throwing it against the wall. Like there's less build up to that. So it's like if you were to go outside right now, straight out of that chair and just throw a regular weighted baseball at 80% effort, it's not going to feel good the first
mhm,
10 times. And people are
yeah,
doing that with a weighted baseball. So in my opinion, and I'm no doctor or scientist, but in my opinion, like that I think is the biggest problem is there's no like build up to the throw. At least 90% of them, maybe not. There's always going to be the 1%ers that do everything right, you know. But like, I feel like not enough people are building up to the throw. Number one, number two, because that's your warm up. You're now throwing something 100 more times a day,
mhm,
right? So you're doing that before catch play, before the game, and then it's the third inning you might pitch, so you're doing it again, and then it's the sixth inning you might pitch and you're doing it again, and then you didn't even pitch, but you threw 500 throws today. It's like
mm,
that's gotta add up, and then on top of that, add on the pitch clock where you have less recovery with your max effort throws. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think it's a perfect storm. You're doing all of that, and everything you do is also max effort. Like now they call them touch and feels when you throw bullpens. Like no, when I was growing up, everything was a touch and feel. You never threw a
mhm,
bullpen with a radar gun ever,
yeah,
unless there was a Yankee scout standing behind you. You know, like
mhm.
So it's a perfect storm. But again, like you want me to have TJ to get to the big leagues, whatever. Sign me up.
Yeah.
I do it right. I do it right now. Give me a big league locker. I'll have a TJ tonight. you
Yeah.
know?
You think right now you could go be a reliever for a team and be effective?
If they sent me to the complex for 2 weeks so I could get my body back into like the rhythm of being a baseball player because I haven't necessarily been doing that.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, I'm extremely confident. Maybe a little bit delusional, but I'm extremely confident that I could get 3 outs before they touch the fourth base.
It
Um,
delusional to me is what gets you guys there.
yeah, it's
I
what it
start
takes.
I started a clothing company way back in the day that was literally made for baseball players. I never even launched it, but the tags, instead of like "Made in America" or something, they all said "Made with Madness." Because 'cause I'm like, you gotta be a madman to stand
Yeah,
on a dirt circle and give up a bomb in front of 30,000, then you just gotta stand in the dirt circle while somebody jogs around all happy,
yeah,
and you're like, "Fuck, dude." Or you
yeah,
strike out, and it's like you gotta walk back to the dugout, and all your team's like, "Damn." I'm like, "This game is brutal, and you gotta be a friggin' madman to make it to the big leagues," because what you guys, and this is why I think I have so much respect for you, because I had big league athleticism and nothing else. I didn't have the skill, I didn't have the mindset, like, I was extremely athletic, but I am no fool, like, I didn't have an ounce of what it takes upstairs or technically, mechanical, all that,
mhm,
and it's just like, that's the true separator between all of you guys, is you can handle all of that. Like, you'd rather
yeah.
be in the arena and fail than not do it at all, and most
Oh
people
my
be like,
god.
"Hell no, I don't want that pressure. I'm good. I don't want anything to do with that," and I think it's and then on top of it, you gotta come back and do it again the next day and the next day.
Yeah,
It's like you said, you start off, they wanna hand you the Cy Young, next thing you know, you can't get out of an outing without giving up 5, and you're like, "What the
yeah,
fuck is this, dude?" Like, that
yeah.
mental roller coaster, crazy.
It's not good. I went from literally like post game interview, they're asking me about the Cy Young. 3 starts into the game, and it's my first ever full season if I don't get sent down. And I went from that to 3 weeks later, I'm so gone that I'm trying to walk home from the White Sox stadium to the team hotel downtown. And I don't know if you've ever been to the White Sox stadium, but
Mm-mm.
you can quickly make a wrong turn. Okay.
I bet. Chicago?
And I didn't make it very far on my walk before I realized that although I'm in a bad mental space, there may be some people in a worse mental space around me, and I should probably grab an Uber and get out of here.
Mhm. Yeah. That'll put it in perspective a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
I
But
think
it's crazy, man. It's the hard. I always tell the kids, like, okay, no matter what you're dealing with right now in the game of baseball, because it's the hardest game in the world. It's the only game you can do everything right and suck, and do everything wrong and be great any given day. Like whatever you're dealing with right now, you're going to deal with forever.
Yep.
Like there's never going to be a day where you start hitting 800.
Yeah.
Like if you want to be good, you're always going to get out 7 out of 10 times at every level. So you're always going to deal with the same thing you're dealing with right now. So what's going to make you better is learning how to deal with it, not trying to hit 800.
Yeah. That's the truth. I love that because that's what you just said. You could do everything perfect and get really actually punished for it. Your whole team gets an out. You've squared a ball up like you wanted to, and some kid in left
Mhm.
field's like doesn't move
Yep.
his spikes out of the grass,
Double,
and
doubled you up.
exactly. So it's like I literally start off a lot of when I talk to kids or parents, I'm always like, "Hey, first things first, like you guys picked the worst game. Like this game sucks, just so you know." So, and then I go pretty much into like what you just said. I'm like, it's also why it's the best because it's so
Mhm.
freaking hard that that one home run or that one, backdoor slider that you put right where you wanted for a strike three to get out of a jam it lasts so long. You can lay in bed and feel it. You can feel yourself
Mhm.
throwing that pitch, or you can feel yourself taking that swing, and that's what carries you through the other times is knowing like I'm gonna feel that sometime. I'm gonna get one of these. I'm gonna hammer one of these fastballs. I'm gonna dot somebody up. So I think for you, I just love that you're so transparent with a lot of the stuff. Like one of the funniest things I think I saw of yours was, and still get. I think the reason I I remember it so well as I still get likes on my comment when you said talking about a pickoff, and you're like, "Yeah, try doing this in Yankee Stadium and it's sailing it and just see you at the tarp," and I think I just wrote "see you at the tarp" and, like, laughing face, and I love that so many people like it because I know it's a bunch of baseball players that know
Yeah.
exactly what you were saying in that, and they're relating on that is actually hilarious. So, talk to me about that because you were what do we got? You got Chicago, LA, New York, uh, who else?
Braves,
Braves,
Tigers.
and the
Yeah.
Tigers. You played for the teams. I mean, I always say this, it's like there's making it to the big leagues, which is amazing. More for the international guys, I say this, but, like, you make it to the big leagues, cool. You're wearing pinstripes, you, like, made it to the top of the big leagues.
Yeah.
You're if
The
you're on the
different league.
Dodgers if you're on the Dodgers, there's, like, 3 teams to me, maybe 4, but I look at Boston, New York, and LA and go, "Those
Mhm.
3 teams to me," like, if I'm coming into the league and I get to pick 'em, like, give me any one of those. They're all at the top of the mountain historically. They're they're at the biggest, and you literally and the Braves, obviously, 1,000 straight pennants. I mean, these
Mhm.
guys, like, you're part of these historical teams. What does that feel like? Because you're all human beings at the end of the day, and it's like when you put the pinstripes on for the first time and you're getting ready to make a like, you're getting ready to go pitch, you're just like, "Whoa." Is that
Yeah.
crazy?
Yeah. So I just played in one of the glow in the dark games this past weekend.
Mhm.
And so those guys, obviously I was just being myself and chopping it up with them. And a couple of guys were asking me questions and I had the same exact conversation. But I was telling them like when I was coming up through the minor leagues as a Yankee, you don't know any different. You know, like
Mhm.
it's just pro ball, and this is just must be how pro ball is, right? And it's like we had to shave every day. I couldn't wear jewelry, collar shirts going from the field. Like it was almost like looking back, it was almost like military,
Mhm.
like with the rules. But that's just the way it was. And at the same time, I thought that's the way it was for everybody. Come to find out, it wasn't, right? But I got to the big leagues with the Yankees, and then not only was I in pinstripes, but I was in pinstripes with number two playing shortstop.
Mhm. That's crazy. That's crazy.
So I made it to the big leagues in time to be there for his last year. So the guys that I had on my locker room, I probably was in my locker room with 7 Hall of Famers my rookie season, and I was already like, I don't know if it was like a brainwashing or if it was just I put the Yankees or the big leagues on such a pedestal coming up because it felt so far away that when I got there, like it didn't matter who you were, I was starstruck, let alone Jeter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was just be seen, not heard. Like it became a joke. Like guys on the team were literally tweeting it out, uh, like counting the amount of words I've said this week because I just wouldn't talk, you know. But putting those pinstripes on, like I knew it was special, obviously because I was there and I was with those guys, but I didn't really feel it until I left. Right.
Yeah.
And then like it was still like a new thing because I was still new to the big league and the Tigers were the Tigers, which is no like small market team. But then
Mhm.
when we went to Yankee Stadium the first time as a Tiger, that's when I felt it because like when you're on a visiting team coming into Yankee Stadium, you can feel that same energy because it's the Yankees over there. And
Yeah.
that's when I'm like, yeah, everybody that talks about it, it definitely is different over there, you know.
Yeah.
But then I got traded to the Braves and I grew up a Braves fan. So like that was to me,
Pretty
I've
awesome.
yeah, I'm shaking hands with Chipper Jones. You know, like we
Yeah.
used to fight over wearing number 10 in Little League. He got to wear it, you know. So like it was I was extremely blessed with the teams that I played on because of the legacy that those teams have, but also the players in those locker rooms. Like the amount of Hall of Famers I played with is probably 20. I mean, if we started counting them, I bet we could get to 20.
That's crazy. Yeah, and you came, like at such a cool time too, like, to be I always look at young guys that are literally, like they're catching their heroes at the end of the career, and it's like, "Man, I get to ta"
Uh,
like, you're pitching with Jeter behind you at short, like, when you when you roll a dude over, it's going to Jeter, and you're like,
yes,
"That's fucking crazy."
it was
Like,
insane, dude.
I had a kid that played for me as shortstop in 2020 in high school, and he got drafted, and he made it to the big leagues. I came and watched him uh, play here in San Diego. He was with the Cardinals, and he grounded out. I think he struck out twice and grounded out, and this was when Tatis was, like, floating from right to second to whatever, and I'm like, "Dude, you K'd up twice to Dylan Cease, who is Cy Young caliber stuff." I
Yeah.
said, "And then you grounded out to Tatis." I said, "You were walking out of the high school dugout with me as your coach 3 years ago." I'm like, "This is fucking awesome, dude." Like, he had a horrible day, and I'm like, from my perspective, that's incredible, dude. I it's such a crazy thing. So, like you're, like, literally trying to be Chipper Jones in Little League, and then all of a sudden you're meeting him because 'cause you're playing for the same team. You're like, that's crazy. That's
And
awesome.
I gotta say too, like the Yankees last hit. I mean, Peter's last hit in Yankee Stadium, the walk off.
Mhm.
Obviously, I was there for that. But every year when they show those clips, like you can see the back of my head running out of the dugout to like go celebrate. You know, so
Oh,
like
really?
every year when they show those clips, like it's a very special moment for me, obviously because I was there. But then I even get to see myself
Mhm.
in the video once a year to like remind me like what I've done and what I've accomplished. It's
Yep.
pretty dope.
That is cool. That's a pretty amazing thing. Then now the transition is always that's the one thing everyone's like, no, well, nobody asked me this, but I always say, like, the only reason I would ever have to be glad I didn't make it to the big leagues is that I don't have to miss it, right? I don't have to, like, go, "Damn it, that was." I always look at quarterbacks, I'm like, "You're telling me Tom Brady and the Brett Favres of the world are supposed to do this for 20 years and then sit on their couch on a Sunday and watch someone else?" They're like, What is this?" I'm like, and the transition is interesting, but there's guys that handle it well, there's guys that don't, there's guys that find their way, and I think just being through that whole process of you gotta grind through the minor leagues, you gotta get to the big leagues and stay in the big leagues. I have a buddy who played 10 Damian Jackson. You know Damian Jackson, the name?
Never met him, but I know the name.
Yeah, so I did lessons at the same facility as him for a little bit, and he was a little different. He was kinda everybody's out to get him type of guy, and we would have these deep conversations, but he'd always be like, I'll never forget him telling me one time, he's like, "The only dudes having fun in the big leagues are the superstars." He's like, "Everyone else is one outing away from getting back down to AAA, one bad day at the plate." Like, they're all having fun, but some guys carry the stress, and the big leaguer or the superstars don't. They're paid. They can hit 150 for a year and still be the guy next year, whatever. But the rest of us are fighting every day out there. And there's that small piece of, yeah, we're big leaguers, but there's also another side of it that is very human. And right now, at big league minimum, about 800K, it's like, so you go from 5K a day if you're at minimum up there to what, maybe
But,
20,000 a month,
yeah,
it's
nothing,
like
nothing.
it's a big difference. So that talk to me a little bit about that for you, the times in your career where you maybe you were up and down a little bit or performance, you felt like mentally, like, obviously that first stretch of from Cy Young talk to struggling. How do you get through that?
Yeah, so I mean, early on, everybody deals with it, right? Like anybody that's in AAA right now that's never been to the big league, they're pressing so hard to get there. And every
Mhm.
time they strike out or every time they give up a run, they feel like they're now a week further from getting that chance. So they're pressing and pressing and pressing. So when I talk to those guys, I try to explain to them, like in that moment, like I don't know this then, but I understand it more now. It's like when you're in AAA and you've never been to the big leagues, the biggest thing that you can do in AAA is just show people that you're a pro because that's what matters in that moment.
Hmm.
So when you strike out 4 times today, like it's almost a blessing because you can show them that it's not going to affect you tomorrow, and that's really what they're waiting to see. So
Makes
like you're
sense.
every time you fail in AAA, you're giving yourself an opportunity to prove to people that you're a big leaguer by how you carry yourself the following day, because that's what makes you a big leaguer. You're good enough. That's why you're in AAA. But what's separating you is how you're dealing with the failures. And the back half of my career, I've spent a lot of time in AAA, and I felt that again, maybe even more because I felt like I was trying to live up to the all-star chain Greene, and that everybody was like looking at me like I should be dominating. So every time I gave up a hit, I would feel that way. So I had to battle that on back the back end of my career as well. And
Mhm.
it's definitely easier said than done, but the biggest key is like who are you going to be tomorrow when today was dog shit?
Yeah.
Who are you going to, and that's like being a big leaguer, that's what that means. Like when you watch somebody, I could go to a single A clubhouse right now for a week and tell you which guys got the best chance to be in the big league without even watching them play, just by how they carry themselves. Because that's the biggest difference.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense to me, even down to the high school level. Whenever we had a kid that was getting looked at by college or something, it's like the coaches would always show up to watch him play, and every question I got was, "How's the family? How's he as a teammate?" It was never the talent. Just like you said, if you're in AAA, you're good enough. It's how are you gonna react to things, and that so
When the manager or the GM calls your AAA manager and says, "Yo, how's Greene doing?" He already knows my ERA. He already knows how many strikeouts I got. He knows all
mhm,
that shit. So what's he really asking? It's
yeah,
the same thing. It's the same thing with high school players. When the college scout or college coach calls the high school coach, he already knows the batting average, the strikeouts, the walks, the hits.
yep,
When he says, "Yo, what do you got on Green?" He's asking like, "Is this guy a shithead, or can I go to war with this guy every day?" Like,
mhm,
so what I tell high school players and even college players that I work with to do is like pretend like you're your coach and you get that call. What do you want the coach to say about you? Write it down, and then
wow,
those are your goals every day. Your goals aren't to hit 300. Your goals are to be a good teammate, to go to war every day, to be on time, to pick up the trash in the dugout, like whatever you want to be described as. Those are all the things that are actually controllable. Because when you're a baseball player, everybody tells you, how many times have you heard, bro, it's just controller controllables.
yeah,
Yeah, but nobody's ever told you what's actually controllable.
what they
Like,
are, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So like
it
that's what they are. It's what do you want? How do you want people to describe you as a baseball player without using statistics? And really,
yeah,
that's not even as a baseball player, that's as a person. So who are
mhm.
you is really the question. And then just go do that. The numbers will be there. Just go do that.
I love that. I love hearing that from somebody like you that's been there, done that. My shortstop I was talking about earlier that got drafted, Texas reached out to me about him, and I sent an email that was, like, way longer than it should have been, and I even prefaced it with, like, "Hey, I don't talk about people like this normally. I'm not that coach, that high school guy that's gonna have you invest millions of dollars into somebody because I wanna say, 'Oh, I got a kid drafted.'"
Yeah.
So there's that disclaimer, and then I just went off about what a good human being this kid was, and they ended up drafting him, and he called me, like, 6 months after the draft, and they had him there for short season, whatever they had him for, and he called me, he's like, "Hey, I gotta tell you," he goes, "that's, like, the best, most accurate scouting report I've ever had on somebody." I'm like, "I didn't even say a word about baseball." He goes, "I know." He goes, "We fucking love this kid, man." He's like, "He's the best," and I'm like, that to me, there's a
That's it.
reason. Go ahead.
That's it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just it. Like
and
enough said. That's it.
and especially at, like, your guys' level, that's such a big piece of it. It's like, they're not everybody's replaceable, but if you're screwing up the vibe of the team, if you are the culture of the clubhouse, like colleges are building programs, so they're trying to get kids that fit into what they're trying to build. And when you're in the big leagues, it's like production is nice, but if you are a guy that that it comes with a lot of negativity in the clubhouse, it's not so nice.
Yeah. There's like a graph, right? Where like if you're gonna be a shithead, you better be the best player on the
Mhm.
field.
Mhm.
If you're the opposite of a shithead, you don't have to be as good.
Yeah.
Like so you can be a shithead if you want, but you better be the best player on every field you ever step on ever, forever.
That's the quote right there. You better be the best player ever of ever field you ever step on ever.
Forever.
That's it. I love that. Tell me this real quick. What outside of baseball now, we talked, I think, last week, and dude, you were on your way to the card show, then you were going to the glow emoji. You were
Yeah.
doing that, which you
Yeah.
did, and I gotta ask that is number 1, it looks awesome. I think those things are good for baseball because them, the bananas, all those. I think they're good because they get little kids interested, and I think as they grow and mature, it'll turn into interested in real baseball, whatever. Um, but let me ask you this: were there nerves when you got on the mound for the glow emojis?
So going into it, I mean, I didn't really know what to expect.
Yeah.
Honestly, I could probably admit that I thought it was a little gimmicky, and I was kind of just doing it to hopefully get some views on a YouTube video,
Mhm.
right? And then I got there, and like the guys were all homies. Like
Mhm.
I immediately felt like I low key I want to come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like
That's awesome.
everybody was a homie. The atmosphere was insane. When once they turn the lights off and it's glowing, like actually glowing in the dark.
Yeah.
I was telling those guys like the second you guys do this in a big league stadium, it's gonna go bananas. Like
Mhm.
it's gonna go crazy. Like the atmosphere was insane, and then I wasn't nervous at all until like literally right before I went out there. They had me
Yeah.
like I've never pitched mic'd up or anything. They had me like mic'd up or whatnot. And as I
Mhm.
was running out there, I was thinking to myself like, if I go out here and give it up, like I'm not near as cool as I thought I was, kind of deal. So,
Mhm.
and plus I'm like, I was always an overthinker as a player, and
Mhm.
I learned how to like battle that and be good at not overthinking. But now I got a guy ask me questions in my ear while I'm also trying not to be the washed up big leaguer getting smacked
Mhm.
around the glow emoji game. So,
Yeah. Bunch of guys
but
in glowing uniforms raking. You're like, "Fuck, dude,
yeah,
I'm done."
I'm not trying to back up bases while I'm glowing in the dark. You know what I'm saying? so, so
Oh.
it was definitely more nerve wracking than I anticipated, and it was way more fun than I thought. Like
Mhm.
low key I want to go back again before the end of the year. So,
That's
uh,
awesome.
no, the relationships and everything that I made in less than 24 hours, like the dudes there, and then plus like you said, the atmosphere and the kids, dude. Like I played in a lot of minor league baseball stadiums. We were in a minor league baseball stadium.
Mhm.
I've maybe seen that type of atmosphere in a minor league baseball stadium less than 3 times. Like it was insane.
Really?
It was completely sold out. Like I was trying to
Yeah.
get my wife in the stadium. They're like, bro, we can't even. Like
That's crazy.
they had to like make it work for me to get
Jump
her
through
into
the
the
hoops.
stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how
That's
many people
awesome.
were there, and it's total chaos the whole game. And it's a show.
Mhm.
Similar to the bananas, like it's a show, but I think not having played in a bananas game, I don't know for sure, but for sure the glow in the dark stuff, like it's less show. It's still baseball. Like these guys are slamming their bat into the thing if they strike out. Like
Mhm. Yeah, they're
they're
competing.
they're competing. So like that was cool to see also because I didn't expect to see that.
Yeah, that's what I've preached the whole time, that's the only reason banana ball and these things work is because they're actually good. These dudes are good,
They're
they
good
compete,
players.
they
Yeah.
play real I went to my first bananas game a few years ago at a minor league stadium, and it was a circus for an hour and a half, and then the first pitch was 92, and I'm like, "What the fuck? These guys play real baseball?" And it was awesome. So I like that. Maybe, hey, listen, let's do this. If you go back there and you play, I'm gonna call him and say, "Put me on the other team. I need 1 AB
Let's
against
do it.
Greene." That'd be sick. That'd be fun. You might dice me up. Last time I took live at bats was, like, 2 years ago, and I pulled my groin taking a pitch,
Taking a pitch.
taking
That's
one. I was like I'm
that's a
like
good
one of those.
take.
Yeah, it was, like, up and in, and I'm one of those, like, drift and just let it
Yeah.
loose, and I, like, tried to stop turning my hips, and I was like, "Oh, shit." Dude, my thigh was black from my groin to my knee the next day. I'm like, "This is a joke. I'm too old." But,
That's
that would be
amazing.
fun, man. I like that. I know we talked to I'm gonna let you go here. I feel like, yeah, I might have you as a reoccurring guest because we could just
Let's
chat,
go.
dude. I
I'm ready.
love this. Yeah, we gotta do it. What else you have going on? Because 'Cause I've watched some of your YouTube stuff, little documentary on just your life. I think it's awesome. I love that. I s
Yeah.
Tell me what you got going on.
Well, right now I'm the only baseballs I'm throwing are for the glow emojis, I guess.
Mhm.
So I'm not getting paid to play baseball anymore. So trying to figure out what's next. I'm super passionate about helping young players. So I do that, but I'm not currently making money while doing that, and there are bills to be paid. So
Mhm.
just trying to figure out how to monetize. Like you could argue I'm an expert at something, but
Mhm.
I can't do that thing anymore. So how can I monetize my expertise without doing it myself?
Yep.
So I'm working through that. I obviously enjoy this kind of stuff. Like I love to just be myself and be authentic. And if I can help young baseball players along the way, like that's icing on the cake for me. So that's kind of why I started going like full on content. And I'm pumping out enough posts right now that like my friends are probably gonna like my close friends I grew up with will probably unfollow me soon because their whole feed is just me. But I'm not doing it for them. I'm trying to get this
Yeah.
this following up a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm full board there. I got the card stuff. Me and some ex teammates of mine, we bought a bunch of cards. Started getting those signed like 5, 6 years ago. So we went into that together. And then I have another ex teammate who is full blown cards. His company's called APL Cards. He's on Whatnot. He does mainly vintage, but because of me, he's starting to get into some of the modern stuff.
Mhm.
So we're doing that. There's money in that, obviously. I don't think that doing that full time is for me, but maybe it is. We'll see. But I'm at the stage right now where it's just like, yes, I'll do
Yeah.
whatever. And then as I'm doing whatever, whatever starts to like be the most fun or like the thing that I think about the most, I'll kind of go that way. But right now, I'm just kind of doing a little bit of everything.
I like that. I think that's a it's a good way, number 1, to find out what's next is do it all, and I'm a big believer the universe kinda once you figure it out, it like, if you do things on your own and you're like, "This is the call," and it might not be the thing, it feels like you take a step forward and then, like, the universe takes 2 steps backwards for you, and you're like, "What the fuck is going on?" But when you figure it out, it's like you take a step and the universe, God, whatever you believe in is like, "Here's 2 more steps in the right direction for you," and you're like, "Oh, this is working, doors open." I like that. I believe too in, like,
Yeah. Well, the
just
amount of people I've met and like networking I've made just from doing the content stuff, like just putting myself out there more,
Mhm.
has already been life changing as far as like the direction and the trajectory of my life now
Yep.
because of the people that I've been in contact with. So like at the very beginning, I felt pretty. How can I describe this without getting canceled? I felt like people could make fun of me
Mhm.
for doing what I was doing. Like I felt that, right? But
Yep.
it's only that until it works, and then it's like, how did you do it?
Yep.
You
That's the
know.
truth. I
So that's where I'm at. I'm just gonna. I don't. Theo Vaughn said it. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna do it every day. So that's what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it every day, and then we'll see what happens.
I love that. I relate to that big time. I coached high school baseball. Making social media stuff was never a plan. I'm like and then COVID happened, and I thought, "Well, I'll never see anybody ever again. None of us will." I'm like,
Yeah,
start making some content, and who cares? Like, I didn't have to make a stupid video and then go to practice and see high school kids would be like, "Nice video, coach."
yeah,
But to your point, there was some of that, and then it eventually became, "Oh, this dude has a following and people whatever." But yeah, it is you find out is that there is an audience in the world that loves what you do. They're gonna show up sooner or later. You haven't found them, and by putting the content there's 8 billion people out there. I promise
no.
there's 100 million that love you. They just haven't seen you, so
I was
that's my
having a
big
com-
thing.
I was having a conversation with one of my best friends today, and he asked me basically the same question, like, "Yo, what are you doing right now?" And I was like, "Posting shit on Instagram, basically."
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I was like, the more I think about it, it's like, what is my strength? Well, one of them is definitely just showing up more than everybody else. Like I
Mhm.
believe that I got to where I got because I just did more. Like I was nonstop. I'm definitely not the most gifted. I'm definitely not the strongest. I've never been the fastest. Um, but I showed up every day and sometimes twice a day for a long time. So like I can show up more than everybody. I'll wake up earlier and go to bed later. Like I was always the first guy at the field, more often than not, last guy to leave. Like that was just who I am. That is who I am. So how can I use that to make money now. It's like, well, I just gotta, if it's just showing up more than everybody, well, I can post more than you today. I'll just do that's it, and I can do that from anywhere. So it seems like I'll just do that for a while and see what happens. So
Mhm.
I'm doing my best to post like 3 times at least a day, and do that for as long as I can hold strong, and just kind of see what happens. I mean, and truthfully, bro, I've been joking about being a content creator for over a year now. But you
Yeah.
kind of start putting that into the world, like
Mhm.
universe thing, like it starts to happen. So in the last 30 days, I've looked at it this morning. I've gotten 3 million views on my Instagram and almost 10K new followers. So it's like that's pretty good momentum. I don't want to
That's
lose
great.
that. So now I'm posting even more, you
Yep.
know. So
Yep.
we'll see what happens.
Hey, I think you should, yeah, I think you should. You bring just such a unique, I don't know that there is another person on social media right now that is recently recently, like, stopped playing or whatever you wanna call it. So you understand the landscape of baseball right now, you understand what the kids go through, you understand it all, and you're incredibly honest, and that, I think, to me, is the biggest thing that draws me into the content, and probably most of your followers, is that you don't have you're not trying to say the right thing. If somebody asks you a question or leaves a comment, you go, "Here's my answer." Like we're sitting on a couch in a basement, and no one will ever hear this answer. I'm gonna say whatever I want. But you put that out into the world. There's so much there's so much tiptoeing and trying to get things right that it's refreshing to see somebody just go, "Yeah, this guy doesn't give a shit if it's," and he's not, like, trying to get anything out of this. He's just telling you what it is. And eventually that will return, I think, a lot. But to see it now is I think why you are where you're at, even down to, like we talked about earlier, the funny part of See You at the Tarp. It's like, this dude is a big leaguer who we just talked about who you played for. The biggest teams in the MLB, and you're out there making a video going, "Shit, bro, you should see me one time." Like,
I don't know if you've looked it up yet, but if you go to YouTube, you can type in Shane Greene 3 errors,
uh-huh,
and
uh-huh.
there's a video that's gonna pop up, and it's gonna be me, my first start ever in Yankee Stadium. Uh, First error, I'm covering first. Ball hits me in the wrist. I just completely whiff it, hits me in the wrist. Guy's safe. Second one, ground ball to me. Not good. I'm like, I will run it all the way to first base before I try to throw it. So I'm running it, and I can see the runner out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, oh shit, he's coming. I gotta flip it, and I go to flip it, and I underhand it to the tarp. Okay, over Mark Teixeira's head. Ichiro's in right field trying to find it under the tarp. Okay, and then the next one, the
Ichiro
next
trying
one.
to find it in the dark. Uh,
The next one is like it was either swing and bunt or bunt. I think it was swing and bunt in no man's land, like down the third base line, and I barehanded it and just keyed it to the tarp again. All in the same game. It was a major league record. First guy since Tommy John, 1972, to have 3 errors in one game as a pitcher. That's me.
the first guy since
And
Tommy John?
yeah, full circle moment, huh?
That's crazy.
Talk about a
Oh,
full
Lord.
circle.
I am certainly gonna have our editor pull up that video and just play it on the bottom of this
Oh
while
yeah,
you're telling that story. That's incredible.
yeah, it's
See,
good.
those are the things I think that to be able to talk about it and laugh about it. See,
Yeah.
thinking about Ichiro, like, digging through a tarp to find the ball you just threw is absolutely hysterical. That's crazy. I love that.
Yeah,
Well,
dude.
shoot, man,
Good.
I know you got a lot going on. I know you got videos to pump out more than everybody else today. I love this. I would love to make this a thing where I chat with you more often
Let's
than
do it.
once. So, yeah, I appreciate you. Let me know, let the viewers know anywhere they can find you on socials.
Yeah, SAGREENEY on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. We got some long form content on YouTube that I think a lot of people like. Once they find it, it's a little bit more difficult to find, obviously. And then, like I was talking about earlier, like I want to make an impact. I want to work with young players. So the vision is to create some kind of community in the very near future in which I can do kind of what we're doing now, but with a young player, whether that's high school, college, and I can coach them while the rest of the community is watching us live. Is kind of my vision.
Mm.
So I'm working on setting that up. So then, like if you've been in a batting cage before, like you sit in the cage and you listen to somebody work through their stuff, you
Yep.
might get something from that. Chances are you will. So
Yep.
my goal is to do that with young players so I can help them work through their situation while other people are listening and watching. The one problem I do have with that is getting the kid to be vulnerable when he knows everybody's listening.
Yeah.
I think that will be a challenge, but we'll be able to work through it. And then I also want to set something up where I'm flying out to that community. I pick a random person in that community once a month, and I fly out and do like an in person on the mound. Throw a bullpen with them or coach them up that way. Because my passion is mental emotional, which I can do from anywhere. But I will forever believe that I'm the best pitching coach in the country, also. So
Mhm.
a little delusional maybe, but whatever. Uh, and I'll fly
Just
out and do that. So
that fires me up. I have nothing to do with it. That
yeah.
whole idea fires me up, dude, because I love that, first of all. I'm gonna make sure I clip that because I think that needs to be heard, it needs to be a thing. Because I was the same as a coach. I hired at high school, good hitting coach, good pitching coach, defense, whatever, so I could literally cruise around during practice, and Dave Roberts told me this. I coached Dave Roberts' son for, like, a couple
Uh,
years in travel ball, but he told me, I said, "What's important?" Because 'cause I'd watch him, dude. We'd be in some podunk town in a 13U travel ball game on a Sunday. We'd get bounced. This was when Dave was, bench coach for the Padres.
mhm.
And he'd take one of the kids into the batting cage if they're, a big league dreams park or something, and they have batting cages. I would watch him work with the kid like he was Justin Turner. I'm like, "Dude, you are treating this like this is the most important thing in the world." And he just we talked about that. He goes, "Hey," he goes, "This is the biggest thing." He's like, "When you come to a practice or a game and you're the coach, touch everybody, not just say what's up from the dugout or walk by them. That means you acknowledge them. They know that you're there every day." And so to me, like, I had a lot of talks with him about just that, the mental side and how you can affect people. So for you to wanna do that to me is I love that because I think it's the most important thing. It's and having a guy, like you said, you hit with the Yankee guy when you were a kid, and it came full circle too, and there's a relationship. It's like you get the right guy in your corner as an athlete, and that dude is the guy. For girls, the girl, whatever, but, like, that to me is way more effective than a teacher because they love baseball, so they're going to you to guide them in something that they love, and that means you are now very important. Like,
The way
and
the
that to
way
me is
the way
huge.
the way I explain it is, if you wanted to be a Navy SEAL, would you
Mhm.
rather learn how to be a Navy SEAL from the guy that teaches the gun safety course, or somebody that's been a Navy SEAL and who's been over there and been shot at?
Yep.
You
Makes
know, so
tons of sense.
like there's definitely a place for the gun safety course guy.
Mhm.
My passion is telling you about what it's like to actually be in war. And
Yep.
like when
Love
you're
that.
in war, all that gun safety course training stuff is useful, but it can only get you so far,
Mhm.
you know. So
Yeah, you're
that's kind of how I look at it, how I approach it, and it's my biggest passion, man. And with the young players I have worked with already, um, it makes the biggest impact, which is what I want to do. So
uh, makes tons of sense. It's like you're the guy that makes sure they can actually execute the gun safety stuff when it matters because
yeah,
their head's in the right space.
it's
They
hundred
could know it
percent.
all and now like, where you're gonna get it done when it matters. I love that, man. I What a great ending to that because I'm the same as far as passionate about I love 2 things about having a social media following. I love answering parents' DMs, and they're always, like, surprised. I'm like, "I'm just like you." I'm not they're like, big old paragraph about their 8U kid, and I'm like, "You know what? It sounds like the coach is this, your kid," and they're just surprised. I love helping parents, and I love helping kids, and I love like, when it comes to the high level stuff, I love just this, meeting you. Like, I would have never connected with you without social media for both of us. So, I see the 2 different things I love is the relationship you and I can now build and talk about things, and I can watch you grow this idea into something real and maybe help you or you can help me with things, and then helping parents through my experience. So I love that you wanna give back. I think that's one of the best things because you guys don't have a obligation to. You've been to the top, and you can easily go, "That was fun. I'm out. I'm gonna go do whatever I want," but to have a desire to give what you had to somebody else and help them is I think is the best. So good on you, man. I love that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
When I'm not here anymore, and when all of us will one day not be here anymore, the only thing that matters is what do I leave behind? You know,
Mhm. Yep.
yeah, trying to make
100%.
just trying to make an impact as much as I can, and I obviously love baseball. Like I'm a lifer. I'm not
Mhm.
get to play it, but I'm a lifer, so I'm gonna be around it. Whether I'm monetizing it or not, I'm gonna be around it.
Yep. I love that. I think more guys like you should be. So good for you, dude. We're gonna wrap this up. I already know I'm gonna have you back on here sooner than later. And I enjoyed this a lot, man. Thank you so much for the time.
Yeah, brother. Much love. Appreciate you having me.